This week on Handyman Corner, going to show you how you can make some furniture. We need some chairs there up at the lodge because some of our old furniture is really killing us in insurance. And we got a recliner rocker here that's just unbelievable. But rather than switch to the no-fault system, what we thought we'd do is buy a couple of chairs. Well, I went and looked at them. Some of them are upwards $19.95, $20 even. That's what we pay for cars, you know. So I thought, well, heck, let's make our chairs, you know. And to do that, all we would need is a lathe. Now, a lathe is going to cost you $600 or $700, in which we could get, say, a bus or a motorhome for. So instead of that, I'm going to show you how you can make your own lathe. All you need is a drill. Take your power drill, stick it into a vise. This is going to save you a heck of a lot of money, believe me. Okay, so maybe you don't have a vise, huh? Or maybe you don't even have a drill. So you're saying, well, how much is this going to save me? You know, well, I'll tell you what, a lathe is a lot cheaper than a vise and a drill put together. Plus, with a drill, look at all the things you can do with it. You can drill, you can screw, you can mix, you can puree, you can sand, you can grind, you can just take a Sunday morning and just sit at home spinning things around while the family's at church. Whereas with a lathe, all you can do is lathing, you know, except I guess you could stand on it as a platform when you're painting the ceiling. So you put this in pretty good here. Oh. Oh, and I may have... Okay. But a lathe is still going to cost you more than, say, a vise and two drills. Just tighten this up quickly before Moose Thompson notices that his drill's missing. Okay, now we need our wood that we're going to do our lathing on. This is a beautiful piece of teak. We're going to make a teak chair. This is going to be one of the legs. So what I got to do is just put a nail in the top there to hold her. Just need a hammer. Well, just use a bit of that old drill, like I told you. Drill is a very versatile tool. Oh, there's the hammer. All right, now we put this into our drill, or should I say, our lathe. Tighten that up. Oh yeah, see how you're getting a feel for this now. And now I just need the chuck key. Oh, I go through chuck keys like pencils and hammers, unbelievable. I buy them by the gross, you know. This here will last me about 3 months. Okay. All right, now. For our speed control, I got this, I'm going to put that in my pocket. For our speed control, I got this thing off my wife's sewing machine, never been used. And this will turn our drill into not only a lathe, but a variable speed lathe. So plug the drill into the pedal and plug the pedal up. Yep, and okay, so we take this metal bracket and I put a nail in this end of the wood now, and we just line that up there, fit that through there. And that'll hold her steady. Now, we want that bracket held onto the bench, so just use my power screwdriver here, and you want to really horse this down good because you don't want this thing coming off at 3,000 RPM going through your skull. No chair is worth that. Unless it was... No, not even then. Okay, that's good. That looks good. Now just check this other end here. Tighten that up good. Where's that chuck key? Oh, yeah. Who put that in there? All right. Oh. All right, and the holder. And just one last thing, just a comment on eye protection. You know, you only have 2 eyes. Take care of them. Okay. Ready to go, so let's make some fine furniture. All right. So now we would carve that down while it was spinning next time, and then you'd make 3 more, just like it, and then another time, maybe next week or whatever, we'll make ourselves the seat for this thing. Anyway, until next time, remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. notice that the reel on this fishing rod has had some functionality problems in the area of managing the winding in and out of the fishing line, which really is the sole purpose of its existence. Now, a younger man might take all that tangled line off there and rewind it on properly. But at my age, I don't have the time or the vocabulary to get through that much frustration. But that doesn't mean this fishing rod is useless. If we threw things out just because they no longer did the job they were originally intended to do, Bernice would stick me out at the end of the lane on garbage day. No, sir. We're going to give this fishing rod a whole new life. Taking our inspiration from the technology of the weed whacker, we're going to make a hedge whacker. All you need is a fishing rod, a cordless drill, and a pair of roller blades maybe your kids gave you to speed up the inheritance. Okay, to start off, you want to attach the drill to one of your roller blades using the Handyman secret weapon, duct tape. Okay, that's our basic hedge whacker configuration. The drill will spin the rod, and the roller blades allow the whole unit to run smoothly along the ground. Now all you want to do is to add a chunk of fishing line as your cutter. You can use whatever strength of line you want, depending on the hedge you're cutting. I'd say for Chinese elm, go with a 40-pound test. And I'm using a 4-foot length, so I'll be able to cut the whole hedge in one pass. But now to get the centrifugal force going, might want to add a couple of lead sinkers onto the one end of the line. I'd say really crimp those babies on there, because if they come off at 100 miles an hour, you'll never find them. Now you want to attach the other end of the line to one of the guides on the fishing rod. You got several heights to choose from, depending on how high you want to cut your hedge. You got low, you got medium. I'm going to go with eyeball height. Let me get my safety glasses first. Okay, we're all set to go, and here's a little extra bonus. I ran a long length of fishing line down to the far end of the hedge, tied her off there, and on this end, I got a fish hook, which I just put into the lowest rod guide. Now when the rod turns inside the drill, see, the line winds up, it pulls the whole unit, the whole length of the hedge. Isn't this great or what? So remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Let's give her a try. Just lock the drill in the on position and stand back. Stand well back. A lot of young people ask me about the entrepreneurial spirit. They want to know what it is. Well, it's not the kind of spirit you find in a bottle. Although, believe me, many of us have looked. Now, the entrepreneurial spirit is about taking a problem and turning it into an opportunity. Now, you may have noticed I got a couple of flat tires on my 4x4. Actually, there's 2 more just like these on the other side. Now, I'm going to take this problem and turn it into an opportunity. Oh, yeah. I'm going to use this vehicle to generate enough money to buy me a whole new set of tires. Sound impossible? Hey, it's on TV. It must be true. And now, through the magic of innovation and lack of alternatives, I've turned my all-wheel drive vehicle into a 4-station wood shop. Oh yeah, now see, I can make products out of wood that I can sell to people and make enough money to buy myself a half-decent set of retreads. And if I want, I can continue on as a manufacturer, or maybe go public with an IPO, make millions of dollars in profits, and move on to my next investment. But I'll probably just get the tires. Now we come to the next most important step of the entrepreneurial process, deciding what to make. So I researched around, found out what local people wanted and what they could afford. I've decided to make duck calls, mainly because I know what a duck call looks like. Plus, I'd be selling mostly to men, which I think is easier. As long as something works, men will buy it. They don't care what it costs or what color it is. Heck, even if it doesn't work, men will buy it. Take a look in your driveway. Okay, first of all, I go to my cutting station. I'm going to cut this to roughly the length that I want. Yeah. All right, now what we do is we take her down to our lathe area there, where we're going to round off the corners a little bit. Now, I've already mounted a piece of wood on there to kind of speed up this demonstration. Okay, once I got the lathing done, I got my basic duck call, but you know, just a little too rough for today's discerning customer, so now I gotta go to my sanding station. This is just really a piece of fine-grained sandpaper mounted onto a record album as a backing. Actually, I use Nat King Cole on that. He's extra smooth. And then just do your little sanding. Wow. Perfect. All right, now to turn it into a real duck call, I gotta drill a hole through the darn thing, and for that, I'm gonna use my drilling station here. Just slowly feed it. You know, you might want to use safety goggles on this, or maybe even some cast iron gloves. And it's just that easy. So you entrepreneurs, remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Should also mention that 99% of new businesses fail in their first year. Handyman Corner, we're going to talk about tools. And I want to talk specifically about the most important tool in your toolbox, and that is your hammer. You can use a hammer to fix anything except digital watches and china. Now, the first hammer I want to talk about is a claw hammer. If you get yourself a claw hammer and it doesn't have any instructions with it, it's pretty simple. You pick up the hammer and you start hitting things. And you keep hitting them until you've built something. For example, you can use a claw hammer to hit a nail. Or you can also use a claw hammer to put in a screw, particularly when your time is at a premium. This way you don't have to worry whether it's a flathead or a socket head or Phillips or Robertson or anything along that nature. But you know, a claw hammer is not the only kind of hammer there is. There's also something called a ball peen hammer. You know, it's not as dirty as it sounds, unfortunately. And this can be used also to drive in a nail. Or you can use the other end, the peen end, as we call it in the business, to do some riveting. There's a special thing called a rivet here. And okay, I think this is more for a metal application, you know. Or, no, I think you're supposed to hammer them from the other side. Just flip this over and you round it. Oh, all right. I got to pry that board off, but not with this. I need my claw hammer for that. Can I drop that hammer? Yeah. Where's my claw hammer? No, I'm always using hammers, aren't I? Oh, I'll get the ball peen. All right. Well, I can use something else as a hammer. Now, this is a crowbar, usually used for prying things apart. Can also be used for those unfortunate times when you've misplaced the keys to your house or your car. It's not only good for prying, like that, it also makes a dandy hammer itself. So you see, almost anything can be used as a hammer. For example, you take a screwdriver. Why not use a screwdriver as a hammer? If you can use a hammer to drive a screw, you can use a screwdriver to hammer. So take a, say, a finishing nail, something along this line. Put it in there. You want something with a kind of a plexiglass or a hard handle that it's not going to mar it anyway. And in she goes. About the only thing that I would say not to use as a hammer would be something like a rubber mallet. I'll show you why. Now, this is kind of useless, but it's not completely useless. Still got a hammer out of it. The thing is that you know, you've got to be sort of adaptable and realize that there are a lot of things that you can use as a hammer. If you've got a big job to do, you need a big hammer. You know, like a big nail. Just. You know, with a hammer that size and a chainsaw, you can build a 20 by 40 foot deck in about 15 minutes, not including sanding and medical attention. So there you have it. I mean, the point of this whole thing is that almost anything can be used as a hammer. There's as many hammers as there are thumb injuries. You can use patio stones or your wife's purse or a rifle. Anything you can find, you can use as a hammer. So until next time, remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Harold, come back here. Bring something I can use as a hammer. Every man has a few things in his life that he knows he should do, but he never quite gets around to. Now, maybe for you, it's paying your taxes or visiting a relative or getting those empty beer bottles out of the sink. For me, it's cleaning out my car. I try to do it once every year. It's been a pretty good year. All right, now this is a situation that often faces the handyman. Do you just press on with a hopeless cause, or do you try to come up with some creative way to do the job better? Or do you just go for a nap? Well, I'm gonna come up with a better way to do this, because I can't be sleeping on my television show. That's your job. All right, I'm thinking what we gotta do is get the roof off of there, and I wanna do it with as little effort as possible. I have a reputation to consider. Okay, now I need to add a couple of steel channels on the side. Here again, innovation is the key. Don't know quite what I'm looking for, but I'm sure I'll recognize it when I see it. Life is a smorgasbord. Now, I know I'm not going to find exactly what I want, so I'm going to have to adapt. I need a couple of channels, you know, sort of like eaves troughs, so there's got to be something here that's sort of like an eaves trough, or something I could make into something like an eaves trough. Okay, took a little extra time and a little extra imagination, but we now have the perfect way to clean out your car. Don't have to do any bending, you don't need a vacuum, and it won't kill a whole afternoon. So remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Oh, were you wondering how that car cleaning thing works? I'll give you 3 guesses. Okay, you're probably wondering how something like this could happen. Was I driving too fast? Did the brakes fail? Maybe I forgot I had a freezer on the roof. Is that my fault? I don't think so. I mean, it took 4 guys at Dalton Store to put the freezer up there. There's no way I could take it off by myself. And if the cars these days had a decent-sized trunk, I wouldn't need to put the freezer on the roof in the first place. Oh, no, I'm telling you, this was an accident. But instead of whining or pointing fingers, today on Handyman Corner, I'm going to show you how, with a little work and imagination, you can actually make something out of an accident. That's what my parents did with me. Okay, now I took the garage door tracks and I mounted them freezer width on the roof and then down over the trunk of the car. Now I'm just securing the garage door opener itself to the hood. And don't be afraid to use the long screws on this baby. I mean, you really want to get her attached securely there. Might be a good idea to even open the hood and check that you've got a real good grip there. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now all I gotta do is put my freezer into place. I don't need this as a garage door opener anymore, since I no longer have a garage door. Now it's my automatic roof rack hoist. If you'll notice, I took the roller hardware off my garage doors and attached it to the 4 corners of my roof rack box, formerly known as my freezer. Likewise, the garage door handle becomes the cleat for my hoisting mechanism. So all I have to do is get my rollers on track and then give the handle the hook. Okay, let's give her a test run and don't wimp out, you know. Freezers can handle a lot of weight, plus they keep everything fresh. Best before May 12th. course, now the beauty here is to get my roof rack up onto the roof. Well, I don't have to lift a finger. I just grab my garage door opener and let nature take its course. See, this was no accident. This was a project. So remember, if women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Okay, next week we're going to show you how to make great jigsaw puzzles for your kids. Depending on where you live, your town might pick up your garbage once or maybe twice a week. The problem is they won't take it unless you haul your can all the way down to the end of the driveway, which means your trash starts piling up faster than your excuses. Before you know it, the neighbors are complaining, your wife is embarrassed, and the raccoons have turned your yard into a drive-through. Oh yeah, sure, I suppose you could take the garbage out every week, but I never call it success when I take something I don't like and find a way to do it more often. Wouldn't it be better if we could cram 4 weeks of trash into one can? You don't have to take the garbage out once a month. So today on Handyman Corner, we're not just talking trash, we're talking trash compactor. I started by filling this garbage can with cement. Next step, gently remove the hardened concrete. Okay, now this whole assembly is going to do the compacting. That's what I use to compact car. See, actually the cement is already heavy enough, but then you hook it onto a vehicle, that garbage is going to be feeling as much downward pressure as Moose Thompson's feet. And of course the whole process is mechanized. Otherwise it would require manual labor, and as you know, I have no use for any kind of manual. I've attached the garbage can to the garage door with this hook I got off a tow truck. You can get these pretty cheap, just slam on your brakes while you're being towed. Now all we do, toss the garbage bags into the can. Look full to you? Not even close. And there's the end of it. So remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Oh boy. Just for the record, 18 bags is the limit. Enjoy a salad. I have more of the hunter mentality. I only like to eat things I have to chase. But there is one good thing about salads, the cheese grater. A lot of engineering in these babies, you know. You slide the material against the outside of a rotating drum that has blades cut in it. Then the shredded output is exhausted through the center core. It's a great design. But what if it could do more than cut the cheese? You know, no matter how long you leave your Christmas tree out front, the garbage man is not going to take it away. So I say, let's use the technology of the cheese grater, make ourselves a wood chipper out of this clothes dryer. First thing you want to do is remove the door. Okay, that's 9.5. That's my shoe size. All right, next you want to cut some sharp edges into the drum using a power chisel. Not because it's the right tool for the job, I just always wanted to use one of these. That went well. That went well. Okay. I cut a whole whack of jagged slots in the drum. That'll do my shredding. Then the chips will just come out the door hole. Well, I need that door hole to be pointing down. Okay, now I just need to raise the unit up off the ground so there's room for the chips to pile up. Or I could just lay it down on top of the well. No, I'll raise it up. And there it is. So remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Did that sound okay, or was I too chipper? All right, now all I gotta do is set the controls. I'd say extra dry. In the last few years, a lot of people have given up on saving the world or trying to be a successful business person or a good parent, and are concentrating instead on trying to make a half-decent cup of coffee. They start with a blend of coffee beans from the South American mountains that have picked up a little extra flavor from the sweat of the donkey's back. And then they grind them all up in one of these fancy noisemakers. What the heck? Wonder where that wrench got to. All right, then they take the ground up coffee beans, put them into this special pot, add some water in there, you boil that all up. Then they take one of these plunger units, goes down inside there, and you squeeze all the flavor out of the coffee. Odd to see a plunger on the input side of the equation, isn't it? And then they have their cup of coffee. But maybe you can't afford all these special appliances. Maybe you've already spent your disposable income on college tuition or bail. You need a cheaper way to make coffee. All you need is a lawnmower with a grass catcher on it. Then what you do is you take your coffee beans, you make a pile of them on some smooth, hard surface, like a paved driveway or a sidewalk or the roof of your car. Then you set the blade as low as she'll go, give the beans a quick buzz, I'm sure they'll return the favor later. Okay, now we take our coffee grounds, pour them into our coffee pot, and then comes the best part, the plunging. That's because we don't have to do it by hand. See? The piston and cylinder of an internal combustion engine use exactly the same mechanical principles as a coffee plunger. But wait a sec. Let me put my coffee mug under the exhaust pipe first. Coffee will go through this thing pretty fast. We've all been there, haven't we? All right, now you just pour the coffee into the carburetor. Pour it slow. If you stall this thing, it's a pig to get her going again. Another bonus of this is you can say to your guests, who wants more coffee? Get it? More. And here's another bonus. With the carbon monoxide mixed in there, this coffee won't keep you awake. Remember, women don't find you handsome. They should at least find you handy. This week on Handyman Corner, I want to talk about tools, or more specifically, toolboxes. You know, it never fails. As soon as you get yourself a complete set of tools, next thing you know, you got friends, neighbors, guys you work with, and family members, all borrowing tools and not bringing them back. So you're left holding the bag. Or more specifically, you're left holding the empty toolbox. So what do you do with an empty toolbox? How about you build a slow cooker? It's dead easy. It's a no-brainer, which, as you know, is sort of my specialty. All right, first thing you want to do, after you empty out all the compartments, you want to spray some of that non-stick cooking stuff in there. Just sock that in there. You don't want to have baked-on pork and beans ruining the finish on your toolbox. Just a minute. There we go. This is the non-stick cooking spray. That was primer. Luckily, it's brown. People just think it's barbecue sauce. All right, now what you want to do is to put the vegetables into the various drawers there. Now, I'm going with the frozen material. I just find it a lot easier to handle. All right. Put the peas in there, and then the corn. Oh. Put some ice on that. Well, I'll use the Brussels sprouts. It's really the only thing they're good for. All right, now we'll just stick the chicken in there in the top. No, that's going to be a little too big. All right, I'm going to cut that up. There we go, and by the way, you know, a nice coating of oil keeps your tools from rusting. All right, now what you want to do is to add the potatoes in there around the chicken. French call these apples of the earth. I guess you could make vodka applesauce, but that's another day. And probably a night, and maybe go right through the weekend on that one. So you get those in there, and then you want to add a can of your favorite gravy, eh? Good stuff, but don't open it. Just lie it in there on its side, and close everything up. And you want to seal in all your juices and all your flavoring, and for that job, I recommend you use the gourmet chef's secret weapon, duct tape. All right, now ordinarily, of course, I would do this barbecuing outside, but it's hot out there. I hate that. Geez, I hate summer. And the beauty of using the toolbox is you can have something like this for a small event, or you can get one of these units and, you know, have the whole gang over. But I would say, do not use the lightweight plastic toolbox to cook in, eh? Otherwise, you end up with something that looks along this line, and, you know, I don't care how much booze you slake into your guests, they're probably not going to take a bite out of that unit. So if you do want to use the plastic toolbox, I would suggest that you go with just the hors d'oeuvre tray approach to it. You got the carrot sticks and the celery and the breadsticks and so on, the licorice and everything, and you got your pretzels in here. You even got a little drawer where you can keep your dip, or as we call them at the lodge, Harold. And it's not that you're going to eat this stuff or anything, but it keeps the ladies busy while you guys empty the beer cooler. And of course, the beauty here is you got your whole dinner simmering away there, and it gives you time to do something else. You know, you could build something, you could invent something, maybe come up with a cure for a fatal disease. I prefer to just sit and not think about anything. I'll tell you, I'm getting good at it. Well, my instincts are telling me this chicken is ready to go any moment now. There we go. That's the gravy heading off right on time. I'm hungry. Looks to me like this chicken leg is just the right tool for the job. So remember, if women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. A little chewy. Oh, wait. Just a hose washer.